Hey, what is up, gamers? Enforcer 5150 here, and we're going to do a quick video today, mostly how to set up your SoulMask server. I did this for my wife and I. Shalana and I have started playing on our laptop. Basically, I'm using the laptop as our SoulMask server, and it works plenty good. Anyway, we're just gonna go through these. I know these are some pretty simple steps to a lot out there, but there are people out there that, you know, it might be a little bit too confusing, or it just doesn't make any dang sense, which I totally get it 100%. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna go through these really quick, these steps, and get this set up. Going through the ones, if you don't know yet, I'll put this in the link below, but the soulmask.famdom.com/wiki/private_server. That is where you need to go to get like the most basic information here. As it says right here, you want to download the Steam CMD command. So basically Steam command, basically it's Steam, but just has like some of the dedicated server ports to it. You can go ahead and click this here, and I'll put the link below as well, where you can download Steam CMD. Anyway, as it says, we need to open up our normal CMD. Now what I do is I'll just go here and type in CMD. I always run it as administrator. Right click administrator for your command prompt. And then once you have that up, as you can see, it says you want to go to your Steam CMD. Now, it depends on where you actually download it. So when you come up here and you download the Steam CMD, you want to put it into a certain folder. And now that's where I kind of have it right now. We're just so we have everything kind of the same. And we can just go ahead, extract all. We're going to extract it all here, but it's going to create another folder. As you can see, it went and created two of them. I'm going to get rid of this one, or it's not really an extra folder, but the zip file. We're going to get rid of the zip file here. And then we're going to go in here, grab this little piece, cut it out, put it back into the proper one, and get rid of the old one there. So once we have that, we're not going to click it here. You can click it here and it will open up a new command prompt. But we're going to go ahead and follow what it's saying here. So we want our command line that we just opened on. And we'll just go ahead and do cd. I'm so used to Linux, so excuse me sometimes here. We're going to go, well, actually, just do regular cd. And I think you can do just backslash, and it'll put us in the regular C drive. And now we can do not cd, because I keep on doing that. That's Linux. You want to do dir, or oh my lord, my apologies. It is CD. CD, Steam, and if you hit tab, it should auto-complete it for you. Now, when you want to look at a directory, you do dir, and you can see everything that's in there. See, I always use Linux because I'm a Linux administrator, so I always do ls, and it doesn't work in Windows without setting up a custom deal. Anyway, we are in the right spot. We have dir. We can see that our Steam CMD exe is there. So now we'll go ahead and we're going to follow these lines here, and we're going to type out what it says here, which is the Steam CMD. So we'll have to go Steam CMD. We can also autocomplete. You don't need to have the .exe on there. So we'll just do it how they have it here in the instructions, and we'll do a plus, and then we'll go login, then space anonymous, A-N-O, I always spell it wrong, and A-N-O, N-Y-M-O-U-S, and then we want to do a plus app, and then underscore update, and then we want the game ID, and now this is just the 301, and that's 7310, and then we want to validate it, V-A-L-I-D-A-T-E, and then plus quit, so that it just exits out when it is done. And once we do that, it should log in anonymously, and then it's going to, I thought that was going to work a little better. Now what it's going to do is it's going to install everything for the server itself. All right, so now it's done, and as you see, it says here, it says that wait for a period of time, the server can be installed in the prompt. Now if you go back to that folder that we created, you can see here that we now have a bunch of information. Basically the same thing that you'll see with your actual Steam install, but we're going to go with Steam apps, common. Then you can see we have SoulMask dedicated server for Windows. So we have it in there. Now, what it's going to ask us is to change a few things. First, starting the server, and you'll see it says open the server bat. So you need to start this by itself once, at least once, so that it will start up. And we'll go there. And now you can see here in that folder that we went to, we have the start server, and then you should really create a backup. I think it says to create it as a backup later on, but for now, we're gonna go ahead and just double click start server. Now we should get another prompt or command line, and it's gonna ask you if you have a firewall on. You need to allow it. You can see that it is definitely starting up. And you might want to wait a little bit because it won't start directly up right away, because it needs to initialize engine. It's doing all of its manual initializations so that the game is actually started. So while we do there, we're going to look at the next thing it's telling us to do, which is shutting down the server. That's also more or less how to connect to the server. So right here, like I said, start the Telnet tool to connect to the server, which I wasn't doing that on my first one, and I was like, no, it's still not going. So they have it set up with Telnet. So we want to go with Telnet. We just type that right in here, and if it shows like not installed or anything, you're gonna need to go to features. So if you go to like start here and you type in features, turn features on and off, you can find Telnet in here, and you'll see it right here, Telnet client. And I don't have it on this one, so that's actually good. I pulled this up because like I bet you if I do that now, Telnet, it's not recognized. You'll get that because I didn't install on this server yet. So all we need to do is go down to that Telnet client, hit OK, and it's going to go ahead and install the required files for Telnet, and then we'll be able to actually run it. All right, so now it is done installing. We're going to go Telnet 127. Oh, that's 28. 127.0.0.1, and then we want to do 18888. So 4 8s, and that should connect us to our new server. And it's saying it's not connected. Now this is where I was having problems last time. And if we bring up the server, and you see it still says initializing. I'm going to hit enter and check that out. It just all of a sudden decided to start up. And that's why I was just like, I could not figure out why it was not going. And now you can see it's flushing, async, loading, and doing all the things, loading everything for the game. And then once you start seeing it load dungeons, I'm pretty sure that is where you're kind of sure that it's actually running. All right, now you see it started saying create dungeon is failing a bunch of them, but it's trying to create the dungeons and everything. So now we're going to go ahead and do that same Telnet. And you can see now it wants to go in there. And now we can type in help. And it should give us a list of commands. And now from here, it's telling you how to, on here, it's just telling you how to shut down the server. And it has a few of the things that you can actually set up. Once you have this, you can do your save world. And now this is going to save the world as it is. You can also create backups and everything like that. And it has a few other little things that you can do. But when you're setting up and like actually configuring your server, you'll need to do a few other things. I don't want to go too far in these, but right here, it says to delete the original file because you want to create a duplicate. So let's look at what it's saying here. Now it's saying to quit 180. Now that's for seconds. So I don't want to wait 180 seconds. I mean, 180 seconds is the safe zone that they're kind of going with. But if we go in here and we do quit, let's say 10. And now in around 10 seconds, you should see it actually start quitting the server because the world is closing, but we have to wait that 10 seconds. See, there you go. Now it's shutting down. And it's just mainly you're doing that so that it does a safe shutdown instead of just going down and then possibly losing some data. All right, so now going into customizing the server configuration. Now I didn't do too much custom on the one I set up for Shalano and I, but like it says here, it says first make a copy of your server bat, which is a smart thing to do. So this is your server bat here. and we can just go ahead and copy, and if we do a paste, it will make it an automatic copy. So now what it wants us to do is to edit, delete the original one, which I'm probably not going to do. I don't know why they say this, you know, to make a copy and then delete it. But it wants us to edit this one. So we're going to go ahead and edit, and we can just do edit in Notepad. All right, so now we have our Notepad here, and you can see all the little settings that it gives us. We're just going to minimize that for now. And then we can bring this up so we can actually see it. And then you can see it has commonly used parameters, setting the name server, and then let's see, you know, Steam, your server name. It even has one here that is kind of a example. So if you wanted to just go ahead and copy that, and then you can put that in here. Now, this is the part where I don't understand why they told us to delete the original, because you still want to start it with this file. And if you just remove the start WS server, it doesn't work right. It's saying that you call start server instead of start this one. So it's still trying to call the original start bat. So if you delete the first one, delete the original and replace it with this. Yeah, so if you delete that first one, it doesn't make, I don't like the way how they have it worded. But what it wants you to do is to put just this line in here. So what we're going to do is just put that in here, call the server bat, and then I'm going to save that. Now we're going to go back to our other one here. Now the server start is the one that we actually want to run, because what we're doing from here is we're calling this file when we run the copy. We're starting this file, which like I said, I don't think it makes sense to me, but I always make a copy just to have a copy of the original stuff that we had. So let's go ahead and make another copy. And I'm going to paste it here. And now I have a copy too. That's my backup, and I'm going to just name that backup. So now that's the original stuff. And now what we need to do is open this one in Notepad. And this is where we're going to add the extra things. Now this one says to call the bat, and then all these things, which doesn't make, that's why it doesn't make sense in the other one, because it's saying WS server and you're not using that in there. So in this one, what you want to do is this copy from the Steam name server and the stuff that you actually want, because we're not going to worry about the start bat because it's already doing that. And we'll just put this, append it at the end. We have our server. Let's see, we'll say, just name it here, Enforcer Gaming X Server. Yes, there we go. All right, so max 50 players, whatever, your password, and we'll just make that new game pass. New game pass. Let's just try to remember that, and then you have to put your GM password, which we're not going to do. We'll just put a bunch of stuff in there so no one like accidentally gets in. And then we have PVE, and we'll go ahead and save. And now what we can do is actually start back up the server by clicking our copy. Because remember, this one, what it has in it is this call that server bat, and then what it's going to do is going to open up that one, and then when the start server opens up, it's going to open up the WS server. So they made it a little confusing how they did it, but it's kind of straightforward. We'll go ahead and start it, and you can see now it's just trying to call the server and open it up again, and you see it already started up right here. And then we just need to wait for it to initialize, and then we'll go ahead and start up the game. And well, first, what I do, like I was saying before, is it didn't work until I actually telnetted it. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter on here to make sure the game starts up. There we go. And then we can go ahead and telnet to it. And once we see it ask for the help part, we know that we're up and online. All right, so now we can see that it's starting to create dungeons, and the hello part has come up. And now we're going to go ahead and start up our game. All right, so now we're in our game. Go to search online. Now your server is going to be under private servers and not official ones. Unfortunately, you don't have an official server. All right. Now this is the part where it does get a little bit confusing, because if your IP is behind a firewall from your ISP, your internet provider, it's going to block the connection, which we probably are going to have an issue here. And I'll need to actually set that up. Let's see, go server age. And yeah, it looks like we are not seeing our server in here. So now what I need to do is go to my control panel for my internet, which is Xfinity. And they do have an app where you can open up the ports. Now, if we look at some of the FAQs, we want to look at the FAQs here. It should give us the ports that we need to open. Now, right here, and I had to do this for the other one already, but I just want you all to know which ones that you need to do. But you can see there's a few different ports right here that it's showing 8777 and 27015, which is a very standard query port for any Steam game. So if you've already had games started up, you probably already have this one open. If you're having issues now, you need to open up that port 8777. So we're going to go ahead and open those two ports on my Xfinity app, and then we'll be right back and see if our game starts up. All right, so now we have our server up, and I think I remember what the password is. It was something along the lines of, I don't remember, New Game Pass? I think it was New Game Pass. I'll go ahead and put that in there and see if we get into our server here. All right, so now we are in our game here, and it's gonna go through all the basic stuff. We're not gonna really do too much to my character here. Let's go a few things in. Make female character in this fake one. See that we're not gonna really use this one. And just go right on in. Yep, and then there it goes. It starts out a whole new character for me. And now what we need to do is bring actual our save game. So if you have a save game or something like that, you're going to probably want to use that as your server and your character that you've already worked on. And that is what we're going to go ahead and do next. All right, so the first thing we need to do is go ahead and shut down our server. I don't think I'm telnetted in. I did have to go back and change my port to out of the DMZ and actually add the port number and remove it from the laptop, because there was a few hiccups there, and then I had to manually add those ports, which I'll just have to switch it back to the laptop later on. Well, we're going to go ahead and shut down this server, and I'm going to show you how we can actually get our save game that we've had previously into our dedicated server. All right, so this is where it can start getting a little bit tricky, I should say, or a little more confusing, but it's actually a lot easier than, say, like Palworld or Enshrouded. Now, if we go over to our dedicated server folder that we had before, go to WS and saved. Now under here, you'll see worlds. Now worlds is where your actual world is and your character and everything. It has this level 0 main, and there's our world, right? All right, so from here, you want to go into your main computer, to your C users, and then your computer's username. I'll have that blacked out. Sorry, I don't want you to see that part. But then app data, and then local, and then WS folder. WS folder will have these folders here. Now, when we were in the local main, you did see that we went to WS saved worlds. Well, it's going to be a little bit different here. Our worlds is actually, our saves are actually here. And you can see the last one that I edited is this one today. So that is one that we've just put up, and we don't want that. We want this one that I had from my old save before, and you can see this folder, which is my current character folder, and it has auto games. That auto games is kind of the same as your level, I would say. But anyway, we're going to go in here and see which one is our last modified. We have this one that was modified today. We have that one that was modified a few days ago. Well, actually, all these are a few days ago. So those are the ones that we actually want. This one, I think, is the one that I did with my wife. And I think this is the one we have for our thing. You can see the world data is in there. So we're going to grab that, which should have all of our information. We're just going to copy all this stuff here. We really only need the world, and then the rest can repopulate. But if you want your settings and everything, it's best to just grab all this stuff. And from this folder, we want to go ahead and put it right in here and overwrite the old one. You can save the old one if you would like, but it's really just the old stuff. Now, after we get that, we're going to go ahead and start back up our server and see if everything is running as expected. All right, so our server is back up and running. We're going to go ahead and get back in here again. And we should be able to put in the same paths from everything, because all that is actually from what we set up in the perimeters for the start server. But now when we get in here, we should have our other one. Now, like I said, it gets a little confusing because you have those multiple things. Now, yeah, this is the right one. So this is the game that I had for our normal gameplay. And I think Shalano's actually put this one out yesterday. I can't remember. But the one before this, where I just craft everything. But you can see I have my character and everything. And we'll go ahead and we'll look. We got all of our vagabonds. And we should also have all of our other things here as well. Like our technology is all taken, all done. Everything is good. And it's running just fine. But yeah, it can be a little bit of a pain. If you have questions, obviously I encourage you to ask in the comments below, because sometimes I will be able to help you out there. Your biggest issue is probably going to be setting your firewall, because ISPs have different firewalls on all these different things. Just make sure you have the port open for 8777 and the 27015. Those are the two main ones you want to make sure you have. Sometimes you might need to actually open up your port 1888 or 8888, the 48s, because a lot of ISPs might block that port as well. But we have our server up. Now I need to switch everything back to my MSI laptop, because that's where Shalano and I are actually playing. But anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. That's all we're going to do for this video today. Make sure you hit that like button. Definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel. Y'all take care and happy gaming.